Let's get cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Let's have fun. This is the steak night, which for those of you who are new here, it's kind of a tradition on my stream to do a steak night and to do something crazy each time. But today, it is a reverse seared, only I'm calling it reverse smoked steak. So a reverse smoked steak, or reverse seared steak, I should say, is basically cooked in a low oven till it's your desired internal temperature, be it medium rare, medium, what have you. It is then finished by searing it. So this is a good alternative to sous vide cooking. It's gonna have a beautiful, even edge-to-edge color and a beautiful crust from searing it. It might look like this is already seared, but it's not. That's the color from smoking it. So I'm gonna start with the potatoes, and as I was saying, I'm gonna show you how to have the best roast potatoes you've ever tasted. I love this record, DJ Shadow introducing. So I was saying the ultimate roast potato, in my opinion, should have an amazing crust, almost like a French fry, and a creamy, delicate interior. That was a drop. And I'm just gonna leave these small ones whole. We will simmer them until they start to break up the edges. Not till they turn to mash, but just till they start to break up the edges, because all of the little edges, the crags, the nooks, the crannies, all of those will get sort of imbued with the cooking oil and create an unreal crust. So again, for the ultimate roast potatoes, in my opinion, the potatoes are to be simmered and then roasted. Not a crisp stream without a drop, I know. I'm trying to cultivate grace. Hey, that's cool, Arise, that you want to trick out your truck. These things, so we are going to rinse these of their excess starch, these little mini Yukon Gold potatoes. They're beautiful. And then we're gonna simmer those in salted water, get them just fragmenting at the edges, toss them with our grapeseed oil and salt, lots of salt, roast them in the oven on its highest setting, which I'm gonna go ahead and turn on here. That's gonna create the most unreal crust you've ever seen. Back here is the straight beef stock. Again, the oxtail and short rib bones from our burger stream, just roasted really dark, quickly blanched to just get the excess sort of scum and foam from the surface. And then finally, those have been simmering for about 4 hours. For your stocks, something like beef bones, you can actually simmer them for hours on end. If you simmer vegetables or carrots, or even more delicate like thyme or rosemary for that long, you're gonna kill the freshness. So when I make stock, what I like to do is simmer that bone component, if you will, for a good amount of time first, and then add the aromatic vegetables later for like the last hour, hour and a half. Back here at the cutting board, I have the shallots, which I've smoked. They're kind of ugly, but we're gonna use these for our sauce. So that's going in the sauce. The two different types of mushrooms are going in the sauce, the little brown button mushrooms and the eringi mushrooms. And then there's one other thing I have. This is confit garlic. So this is garlic cloves, which I peeled, which I've been cooking low and slow in olive oil. So these are soft and tender. So we'll have the cloves of garlic confit in our sauce. So it's gonna be like a gravy of beef stock, mushrooms, smoked shallots, and garlic confit. And that's what I would call a sauce fit for a king. PogChamp? Yeah, I appreciate it. So I've got these herbs, lemon thyme and rosemary from the garden. Got the smoked shallots there. Ta-da! And now these mushrooms. So I'm just gonna quarter these. Okay, so now here I've got the eringi mushrooms. This bundle of thyme and rosemary. I'm gonna add it to the garlic confit. And garlic confit, I'll show you. Garlic is usually sharp, harsh, hot. But if you cook it low and slow, actually this needs to continue confiting. It'll get soft and sweet. Yeah, you can see it's getting there anyway. But it's the complete opposite of raw garlic. Soft, sweet, complex, good enough to eat on its own. By the way, these potatoes should be all set. So what I'm looking for is for these to be just kind of crackling at the edges, and they are. By the way, I'm just adding these eringi and brown button mushrooms to the pan. By the way, I've just strained out these potatoes. Rosemary and the lemon thyme going in with that garlic confit. I'm gonna put that garlic confit back in the low oven. Yo, thanks, I'll take it. The potatoes, now simmered, just tender, just breaking up the edges. So a lot of grapeseed oil. Lots of salt. Pog, yeah. Starting these in a dry pan. They're starting to stick. It's about time to add the oil, or in my case, butter. And now this is some of the butter from earlier. I used this to baste the steak when it was on the smoker. So I just had a little bit of butter in a pot there. Add wine with the mushroom. That's a great idea, Zena. If I had sherry, I would absolutely use it here. Nice splash of that delicious balsamic vinegar, as the Brits would say. Those are done. On this camera, you can really see the color of those. Those will get fresh herbs as well. Again, these are the Yukon Gold potatoes that I simmered until they're breaking up the edges. I've tossed them with grapeseed oil and salt. Nothing else, no pepper, no garlic, no herbs yet, because that stuff would burn. These are going into my oven on its highest setting. Why grapeseed oil versus olive oil? Smoke point? Yeah, exactly right. So again, this is the 42-ounce dry-aged ribeye prime, which I've smoked until it's rare on the interior, basting it with butter as it's smoked. And now all we have to do is to sear it. I can't wait to cut into this bad boy here in a bit, but we still need to go ahead and cook our asparagus. So I'm gonna get some water boiling for that. By the way, I'm just gonna add a bit of white carrot to that beef stock back there. Just sort of thinly slice these carrots. Okay, cool. So we're gonna blanch this asparagus, meaning that we're gonna boil it briefly until it's bright green. Shock it, meaning that we're gonna plunge it into an ice bath. And then we'll rewarm it in some, we'll use the garlic confit oil. We use a lot more time and energy doing it your way. True. Look at that beautiful green color. Yeah, we did achieve a really nice green hue here. Let's sear the steak. Gorgeous? Absolutely. Oh, you meant the steak. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Kappa. What song is this? It's Actium, A-C-T-I-U-M by Aphex Twin. Selected Ambient Works, Volume 1. All right, by the way, over here, this is a sort of blonde beef stock. So now what we're gonna do is reduce this down. We'll add our mushrooms and maybe a bit of the smoked red bell pepper. I have the smoked shallot as well, which we're gonna add, and cloves of soft, sweet garlic confit. I'm gonna get that boiling, reducing. Really, really hot skillet over here, by the way. I'm just gonna dab the exterior. I didn't actually do it. Dry, because any moisture on there will keep us from browning the steak really well. You ever go to cook a steak, maybe that you just thawed, and it doesn't get a crust, it doesn't sear right? It's probably too wet. Same goes for your chicken breasts, all of your meat. Fat that I rendered out earlier from roasting the oxtail, from roasting the short rib. See that cherry red from the smoke. All right, that's plenty seared. Okay, this steak is gonna go into the low oven. Look, there's the beef stock. I did the silky, smooth reduction. Our garlic confit, our sauteed mushrooms deglazed with balsamic, and then the smoked shallot. So there are a couple more things I need to do for our roast potatoes. It's almost like a loaf of bread, only it's a roast potato, you know? Steak, oven, cool. Potatoes, you can smell the garlic on them. Similarly, I'm coating the asparagus. Again, with that garlic confit oil, the lemon zest, lemon juice. Small roast, not steak. The carving fork. So there is our smoked, then seared, prime dry-aged ribeye. The smell of that is crazy. You can actually see the marbling running through the meat still. I'm just gonna take some of those mushrooms, some of that garlic. So our very own beef stock, our very own garlic confit. There you go, man. We're food stylists now. Ta-da! Smoked prime ribeye with a sauce fit for a king. You can see just how tender the ribeye is. So it's got a bit of sweetness and intrigue when you taste the beef itself, but then the smoke, that's gonna get a check plus from me. Anyway, everybody, lol, 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 lol. Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching my stream, as always. Dry-aged, smoked steak. Pretty darn good. Peace!